light, dim the streets in moonlight bright. We dissect the cinematic art, real by real we pull apart.
Hello film lovers, and welcome back to Real Talk. My name is Josh and I'm your host, and whether you're a longtime listener or just tuning in for the first time, I am truly thrilled to have you here. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most beloved and enduring genres in cinema, the coming-of-age film. These stories hold a special place in the hearts of audiences because they remind us of one universal truth. We were all teenagers once, awkward, hopeful, uncertain, and full of dreams. Coming-of-age films capture the essence of growing up, the moments that define us, and the messy, beautiful process of figuring out who we are. They reflect the joys and heartaches of first love, the sting of betrayals, the intensity of friendships, and the struggle for independence. But more than that, they reveal the universal truths about the human experience. No matter where we come from or what our background is, we all share the journey from adolescence to adulthood. In today's episode, we're not just exploring the genre as a whole, we're also shining a spotlight on the incredible contributions of women behind the camera, directors who have shaped, challenged, and expanded what coming-of-age films can be. Their stories often bring a fresh and nuanced perspective, offering voices that have historically been underrepresented. And because we like to mix things up here on Real Talk, our curated watch list is as diverse as the genre itself. From poignant dramas that will leave you in tears, to laugh-out-loud comedies that capture the ridiculousness of growing up, to darker tales that tread into unsettling territory. This list, I think, has it all. So whether you're looking to revisit a classic or discover a hidden gem, you're in for a treat. So grab a cup of coffee, settle into your favorite chair, and let's take a journey through the history of coming-of-age films. By the end of this episode, I think you'll have a deeper appreciation for the genre, and hopefully, a watch list that's longer than you bargained for. Let's dive right in. The coming-of-age genre has long been a cornerstone of storytelling, both in literature and on the big screen. Its appeal lies in its universality. Everyone can relate to the process of growing up. These films invite us to relive the highs and lows of adolescence, from the excitement of first loves to the sting of heartbreak, the warmth of deep friendship, to the alienation of feeling misunderstood. At their core, coming-of-age stories explore the moments that shape who we are, offering reflections on identity, growth, and the human experience. The coming-of-age genre really emerged as a cinematic exploration of youth, rebellion, and self-discovery, gaining prominence in the mid-20th century. This period marked the beginning of a genre that would resonate across generations, reflecting the struggles and transitions of adolescence and early adulthood. One of the genre's pivotal moments came in 1955 with Rebel Without a Cause. Starring the great James Dean, the film painted a vivid picture of post-war American youth grappling with alienation, authority, and societal expectations. Dean's portrayal of Jim Stark, a troubled teenager yearning for understanding, was raw and relatable. His iconic performance not only defined his career, but also cemented the film as a cornerstone of the coming-of-age narrative. With its focus on themes of familial disconnect and the search for identity, Rebel Without a Cause resonated deeply with audiences and still does, becoming a cultural touchstone for youthful rebellion and angst. As the 60s progressed, the genre evolved, reflecting the shifting cultural landscape. In 1967, Mike Nichols directed The Graduate, which added a satirical layer to the coming-of-age formula. It captured the aimlessness of early adulthood through the character of Benjamin Braddock, played by Dustin Hoffman. Fresh out of college and uncertain about his future, Benjamin's story explored themes of disillusionment, societal pressure, and existential dread. The film's sharp humor and groundbreaking narrative made it an instant classic. It elevated the genre by showing that growing up was not just a phase, but a complex and often ironic process. However, the narratives of this era were largely male-dominated. Stories like Rebel Without a Cause and The Graduate focused on male protagonists navigating the turbulence of youth, often relegating female characters to supporting roles as love interests or catalysts for the hero's journey. While these films effectively captured the universal challenges of adolescence, identity, rebellion, and the search for purpose, they presented an incomplete picture. The perspective of young women, their struggles, and their voices were notably absent, leaving a significant gap in the storytelling of the time. Despite this limitation, these early films laid crucial groundwork for the coming-of-age genre. Establishing its themes and emotional resonance, they opened the door for future filmmakers to expand the genre, challenging its male-centric roots and bringing diverse perspectives to the forefront. As societal norms and expectations evolved, so too would the stories told within the genre, leading to a richer and more inclusive exploration of what it means to grow up. By the late 20th century, the coming-of-age genre began to transform as more women stepped into directorial roles, infusing the narrative landscape with fresh perspectives and authentic experiences. These filmmakers challenged the established norms of the genre, which had long been dominated by those male-centric stories, and introduced nuanced portrayals of youth, identity, and societal expectations. Pioneers like Amy Heckerling and Penelope Spheris played pivotal roles in reshaping what coming-of-age films could be. Amy Heckerling's 1982 Fast Times at Ridgemont High stands as a landmark in teen cinema. While often celebrated as a quintessential teen comedy, the film transcended its genre to address deeper, more complex issues such as sexual exploration, heartbreak, and the awkward process of finding one's identity. Heckerling approached these topics with an authenticity that resonated with audiences, particularly teenage girls who had rarely seen themselves represented with such depth on screen. Characters like Jennifer Jason Leigh's Stacey Hamilton were portrayed with a refreshing honesty, navigating her desires and mistakes in a way that felt human rather than stereotypical. Fast Times wasn't just about high school antics. It was a candid look at adolescence, giving its characters, and particularly its female leads, agency and emotional complexity. In contrast, Penelope Spheris brought a raw, unfiltered lens to the coming-of-age narrative with her 1983 film Suburbia. At the time known for her work in documentaries like The Decline of Western Civilization, Spheris had a unique ability to capture the realities of youth on the fringes of society. Suburbia explored the lives of punk teens living in abandoned houses, rebelling against suburban conformity and societal expectations. The film was gritty, unpolished, and unapologetically honest, offering a stark contrast to the glossy teen dramas of the time. Spheris' focus on subcultures and outcasts highlights the diversity of youth experiences, illustrating that coming of age wasn't a universal journey, but rather one shaped by class, culture, and circumstance. Together, Heckerling and Spheris expanded the boundaries of the genre, proving that coming-of-age stories could be as multifaceted as the audiences who watched them. Their work opened doors for women filmmakers, showing that these narratives didn't need to adhere to Hollywood's established formula of male protagonists and romanticized adolescence. They demonstrated that the genre could tackle serious themes: sex, rebellion, identity, and societal critique, while remaining entertaining and relatable. The shift also set the stage for a new wave of filmmakers, inspiring others to bring their own unique perspectives to the genre. With women behind the camera, the coming-of-age narrative grew richer, offering a broader spectrum of stories that captured the complexities of youth in ways that now felt deeply personal and still universally resonant. With the dawn of the 21st century, the coming-of-age genre underwent a profound transformation. Embracing diversity in voices, themes, and storytelling, filmmakers began to explore the complexities of identity, culture, and the human experience, moving beyond the one-dimensional narratives of the past. Women directors in particular played a pivotal role in this evolution, weaving stories that delved into the intersection of race, gender, sexuality, and socioeconomic status. Greta Gerwig's 2017 film Lady Bird is a shining example of how the genre has matured. A semi-autobiographical tale, the film follows Christine Lady Bird McPherson during her senior year of high school in Sacramento, California. At its heart, the story captures the push and pull of the mother-daughter relationship, with Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf delivering heartfelt performances that explore themes of love, conflict, and mutual understanding. Lady Bird also delves into the universal longing for independence and self-definition, as Lady Bird navigates friendships, romantic relationships, and her aspirations for the future. With its sharp humor and emotional depth, the film resonated deeply with audiences, offering a story both personal and universally relatable. Then in 2011, Dee Rees' Pariah brought another groundbreaking perspective to the genre. This deeply personal film tells the story of Alike, a young black lesbian in Brooklyn, as she struggles to embrace her identity while facing rejection and misunderstanding from her family. Rees' storytelling is unflinchingly honest, portraying the courage it takes to live authentically in a world that often demands conformity. The film's nuanced depiction of Alike's journey to self-acceptance broke new ground in LGBTQ+ representation, offering a voice to experience that had long been overlooked by mainstream cinema. In 2014, Celine Sciamma's Girlhood added yet another layer to the genre. And set in the suburbs of Paris, the film follows Mariam, a young black girl navigating the challenges of adolescence, including family pressures, limited opportunities, and the search for her own identity. Through its exploration of female friendship and the dynamics of group belonging, Girlhood paints a poignant picture of the struggles and triumphs of growing up in a marginalized community. Sciamma's visual storytelling and attention to emotional detail make the film a standout in contemporary coming-of-age cinema. These films, along with so many others, reflect the genre's shift towards more inclusive storytelling. The coming-of-age narrative is no longer confined to a singular lens or cultural backdrop. Instead, it has grown into a rich tapestry of experiences that resonate across diverse communities. From the suburbs of Sacramento to the streets of Brooklyn and the outskirts of Paris, these stories explore the universality of growing up while honoring the unique challenges that come with individual identity. In embracing the diversity, the genre has become a mirror for society's evolving understanding of identity and inclusion. It has allowed audiences to see themselves reflected on screen, offering validation and empathy for their own journeys. As more filmmakers continue to push the boundaries of the coming-of-age story, the genre remains a vital and ever-expanding space for authentic, resonant storytelling that speaks to the heart of what it really means to grow up. While live-action films have long dominated the coming-of-age genre, animated films have made their own significant contributions, offering fresh perspectives and exploring complex themes in creative and emotionally resonant ways. Animation has the unique ability to blend visual artistry with storytelling in a manner that can deeply engage audiences, often conveying the rawness of adolescence through symbolic and fantastical elements. Through distinctive visual styles and imaginative narratives, animated films have been able to tackle the challenges of growing up with both whimsy and weight, exploring universal themes such as identity, belonging, and personal growth. One of the standout examples of animation's contribution to the coming-of-age genre is 2007's Persepolis. Directed by Marjan Satrapi, this autobiographical animated film is based on Satrapi's graphic novel of the same name and tells the story of her childhood and adolescence during the tumultuous period of the Iranian Revolution. What sets Persepolis apart is its striking visual style, characterized by stark black and white illustrations that evoke a sense of both simplicity and complexity. The animation allows Satrapi to explore heavy themes of identity, rebellion, and political upheaval in a deeply personal way, while also emphasizing the universality of the coming-of-age experience. The protagonist, Marjan, navigates the challenges of growing up in a repressive society, grappling with both her cultural heritage and the conflicting desires for freedom and self-expression. Through the lens of animation, Persepolis balances humor, tragedy, and moments of introspection, offering an emotionally poignant story that resonates not only with those familiar with the historical context, but also with anyone who has struggled with the process of becoming who they are. The film stands as a powerful testament to how animation can tell complex, layered stories that reflect the emotional and psychological landscape of adolescence. In contrast, 2022's Turning Red, directed by Domi Shi and produced by Pixar, brings a light-hearted yet insightful perspective to the coming-of-age genre. The film follows Mai Li, a 13-year-old girl living in Toronto who experiences a surprising and supernatural transformation into a giant red panda whenever she experiences intense emotions. While Turning Red is unmistakably a family-friendly film, it brilliantly explores the universal experiences of puberty, identity formation, and the tension between personal growth and family expectations. The red panda transformation serves as a metaphor for the chaotic changes that come with adolescence, particularly for young girls as they navigate the hormonal and emotional turbulence of puberty. What makes Turning Red so effective is its ability to combine humor and fantasy with poignant emotional moments, capturing the awkwardness of growing up while also highlighting the importance of self-acceptance and embracing one's true nature. The intergenerational conflict between Mai and her mother adds layers of depth to the film, illustrating the complexities of family relationships during the coming-of-age process. Through its vivid animation and imaginative narrative, Turning Red creates a world that's both whimsical but grounded in the emotional truths of adolescence, offering a very heartfelt but relatable exploration of growing up. The success of both Persepolis and Turning Red highlights how animation can serve as a powerful tool for storytelling in the coming-of-age genre. Animation allows filmmakers to portray the emotional complexities of adolescence in ways that are often more difficult to achieve in live action. Through symbolism, metaphor, and visual creativity, animated films can depict the internal struggles of growing up. Whether it's dealing with those societal expectations, your personal identity, or your familial tension, but while also offering an escape into fantastical worlds. The blend of artistry and narrative in these films provides an emotional depth that resonates with audiences of all ages, making animated coming-of-age stories a vital part of the genre. Additionally, animated films often transcend the typical boundaries of age, allowing them to speak to both younger and older audiences in ways that feel equally impactful. For children and teenagers, animated coming-of-age stories like Turning Red provide a comforting and relatable experience, helping them navigate their own challenges of growing up. For older audiences, films like Persepolis offer a reflective look back at their own coming-of-age moments, highlighting the ways in which animation can capture the nostalgia and emotional growth that shapes one's life. The lasting impact of animated coming-of-age films is a testament to the medium's power to explore universal themes in ways that are both accessible and profoundly moving. So recently, animation has started to carve out its unique space within the genre, offering creative and emotionally resonant narratives that can speak to audiences of all backgrounds. Whether through those deeply personal lens of Persepolis or the whimsical, insightful portrayal of adolescence in Turning Red, they have the ability to enrich the genre by bringing in fresh perspectives, inventive storytelling, and emotional depth that will captivate us. As animation continues to evolve, it will undoubtedly remain a vital, imaginative force in exploring the universal experience of growing up. One of the defining characteristics of female-directed coming-of-age films is their ability to subvert and reimagine the traditional tropes that have long been associated with the genre. Where past films often followed a familiar formula, centered around male protagonists, or narrowly defined experiences of womanhood, female directors have pushed the boundaries of storytelling, breathing new life into those narratives. Through their unique perspectives and experiences, female filmmakers have brought forth fresh, complex, and diverse portrayals of adolescence, creating films that reflect the richness and diversity of growing up. At the heart of many female-directed coming-of-age films is a profound exploration of identity. These films tackle the complexities of growing up by diving into the intersectionality of gender, race, sexuality, and culture. Unlike the traditional narratives which often present a singular, monolithic experience of adolescence, female filmmakers recognize that growing up is not a one-size-fits-all journey. The exploration of multiple identities and how they intersect and evolve during adolescence adds layers of nuance and depth to these stories. For instance, in Pariah, directed by Dee Reese, it provides an unflinching look at the life of Alike, the young black lesbian in Brooklyn. We talked about earlier, the film offers a delicate portrayal of the challenges she faces as she grapples with her sexual identity in the face of family pressures and the society's expectations. But her struggle is not only about sexual identity, it's also about race, class, and gender, elements that are inextricably linked. The intersectionality of these identities become a core theme, showing how growing up as a queer black girl in a conservative environment shapes her experiences of adolescence. Through Reese's direction, the film gives voice to a perspective often overlooked in mainstream cinema, offering an intimate and authentic representation of the complexities of identity formation. Similarly, with Girlhood that we talked about, Celine Sciamma also explores intersectionality through the lens of race, gender, and class. Girlhood follows Maryam, a young black girl, as she navigates her tumultuous adolescence while trying to find her place in the world. Sciamma's film here underscores how society's expectations weigh heavily on Maryam, not only because of her gender, but also due to the limitations imposed by her social class. The film powerfully captures the inner conflict she faces as she tries to define herself, both within the context of her community and in relation to her desires for personal growth and freedom. It's a stunning exploration of how identity is shaped by multiple, often conflicting forces, making it clear that coming of age is not a uniform experience, but one that is deeply personal and multifaceted. Another hallmark of female-directed coming-of-age films is the deep emotional exploration of relationships, especially those between women. While traditional coming-of-age stories often focuses on a male's friendship or romantic relationships, female filmmakers bring a unique focus to the bonds that women share, emphasizing the emotional depth and complexity of these connections. One of the most significant relationships explored in many female-directed coming-of-age films is the mother-daughter dynamic. This relationship is rich with tension, love, conflict, understanding, and it's often depicted with a level of authenticity that resonates with many audiences. Back in Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird, that relationship between Lady Bird and her mother Marion forms the emotional backbone of the film. The tension between the two characters stems from their vastly different desires and worldviews. Lady Bird's yearning for independence clashes with Marion's protective and often critical nature. However, the film also shows how love can be messy and imperfect, capturing the bittersweet nature of adolescence and the growing understanding that comes with maturity. The film's depiction of this relationship is both heart-wrenching and cathartic, giving viewers a relatable and nuanced portrayal of the complexities of growing up and the evolution of familial bonds. Beyond mother-daughter relationships, female-directed coming-of-age films often explore the deep, sometimes complicated friendships between young women. These friendships are not just background plots, but integral parts of character development. In Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants from 2005, directed, I know, by a man, Ken Kwapis, but produced by women, the friendship between four girls navigating different aspects of growing up is central to the narrative. The film explores how these friendships evolve and how each girl learns from the other's experiences, offering a broader sense of solidarity and shared growth. Female directors, with their focus on these relationships, demonstrate how adolescence is often about learning from others, whether they are mentors, peers, or family members. But perhaps one of the most significant contributions female filmmakers have made to the coming-of-age genre is their ability to create authentic, fully realized female characters who defy the traditional stereotypes often seen in male-directed films. In many films made by male directors, teenage girls have often been reduced to one-dimensional characters, either the perfect love interest, the rebellious bad girl, or the socially awkward outcast. However, female filmmakers offer a refreshing break from these tired tropes, crafting characters who are complex, multifaceted, and thoroughly relatable. In Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Amy Heckerling introduces a number of teenage girls, each with their own aspirations, struggles, and unique experiences. While the film is often remembered for its humor and lightheartedness, it also provides a candid look at the challenges young women face. Everything from sex and relationships to body image and identity. Heckerling's portrayal of female characters like Stacy and Linda is far from stereotypical. These girls are not defined by their relationships with men or their physical appearance, but are instead shown as individuals navigating the complexities of adolescence on their own terms. Similarly, in 1995's Clueless, also directed by Heckerling, the protagonist, Cher Horowitz, is far from the typical Queen Bee high school character. Cher is smart, compassionate, and surprisingly self-aware, even if her understanding of the world around her is sometimes misguided. Through Cher, Heckerling redefines the popular girl trope. She allowed the audience to see her as a multidimensional character who is not just concerned with materialism or romance, but also with personal growth, friendship, and even social justice. Cher's character embodies the idea that young women are far more complex than the narrow stereotypes often imposed upon them. Female-directed coming-of-age films have enriched the genre by reimagining traditional tropes and themes. They have brought fresh perspectives on identity, relationships, and authenticity, offering a more nuanced, inclusive portrayal of adolescence. By tackling complex issues such as intersectionality, family dynamics, and the multifaceted nature of female friendships, these films highlight that growing up is a deeply personal and varied experience, and that the coming-of-age story is still evolving into a more diverse and inclusive genre. Female filmmakers continue to push boundaries and create characters who resonate with audiences by embracing authenticity over stereotype, making their contribution to the coming-of-age genre both transformative and essential. Today, coming-of-age films directed by women continue to push boundaries and redefine what the genre can be. From the raw intensity of Julia Ducournau's Raw, which blends horror with adolescent transformation, to Olivia Wilde's Booksmart, a riotous comedy that flips the script on high school tropes, the genre is more vibrant and varied than ever. As we look to the future, it's exciting to imagine how new voices and perspectives will continue to shape this genre. One thing is certain, the coming-of-age story will always have a place in cinema, as long as there are people eager to reflect on the beauty and chaos of growing up. Now, before we get into the curated list of films that we'll be reviewing during this series, I want to let you know why I love coming-of-age films, especially the ones directed by women. Because as a man, I am no authority here. I am just trying to learn something new. So let me give this breakdown for you. Coming-of-age films hold a special place in my heart because they capture something deeply human, the universal experience of change. These stories spotlight the transitions that define us, the pivotal moments when we cross a threshold and emerge forever changed. Whether it's the awkwardness of puberty, the thrill of first love, or the quiet realization of who we are. Coming-of-age films depict these rites of passage with honesty and emotional resonance. As the father of 3 daughters, ages 21, 19, and 18, and soon to be a grandfather, I see these films through a deeply personal lens. Each of my daughters is completely unique, with her own personality, dreams, and way of viewing the world. Watching coming-of-age films reminds me of their individuality, their growth, and their need to be seen and heard for who they truly are. One reason these films resonate so strongly with me is their ability to reconnect us with the intensity of our youth. Adolescence is a time when everything feels magnified. Love is thrilling, rejection cuts deeply, and friendships can feel like the center of the universe. Through coming-of-age films, I relive those emotions, often with the clarity that comes from being a parent. Films like Booksmart or Persepolis may differ in specifics, but the emotions they portray are universal. Watching these stories, I'm often reminded of my own youthful struggles and triumphs, and they help me better understand what my daughters are experiencing as they navigate their own lives. Female-directed coming-of-age films add an essential layer to the genre. They offer perspectives that challenge stereotypes and explore identity, relationships, and intersectionality in ways that feel authentic and personal. As a father, this means a lot to me. I want my daughters to see themselves reflected in stories that celebrate their complexity and individuality. Films like Lady Bird and Girlhood stand out because they portray young women as multidimensional individuals navigating family, culture, and their place in the world. These films affirm my belief that every person, my daughters included, deserves to be seen and valued for who they truly are. The films I love often feel like mirrors, reflecting not only the universal journey of growing up, but also my personal experience as a father. I've watched my daughters face their own coming-of-age moments, finding their voices, navigating friendships, and discovering their passions. These films remind me of the joy and challenge of witnessing their growth. When I watch a film like Pariah, I'm reminded of the courage it takes to be true to yourself in the face of society or family expectations. Stories like these resonate with me because they echo what I strive to offer my daughters: the space to grow into their authentic selves, no matter how different their paths may be. Ultimately, coming-of-age films remind me of where I've been, who I am, and who I'm still becoming, not just as a person, but as a father. They speak to the timeless journey of self-discovery, and in doing so foster empathy and understanding across generations. For me, these films aren't just stories. They're windows into the lives of my daughters and reflections of my role as their father. They remind me of the importance of honoring individuality, embracing change, and creating a world where everyone is seen and heard. That is why these films endure, and that is why they will always hold a special place in my heart. Now that we've talked about all of that, we've explored the history, looked at where I'm coming from when watching these films, let's dive into some standout films that show just how dynamic and diverse this genre can be. Stay tuned for our curated watch list. In this section, I'm breaking down our watch list of 15 must-see coming-of-age films into 3 thematic parts: the good, the funny, and the scary and everything in between. Each section will highlight a range of films that, after much research, showcase the incredible diversity of the genre through the lens of female directors. These films capture the joys, challenges, and growing pains of adolescence, at least according to critics, in ways that feel deeply authentic and relatable. Over the next few episodes, one per film, we will dive deeper into each of these movies. But for now, let's set the stage. So part 1, The Good, coming-of-age stories that stay with you. These films are the gold standard of the genre, offering deeply moving narratives that explore identity, family, and societal expectations. First, we have 2017's Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. This is Greta Gerwig's semi-autobiographical masterpiece capturing the awkward, exhilarating, and bittersweet moments of adolescence. At its heart, this is a beautifully complex relationship between Lady Bird and her mother, a dynamic that is as universal as it is specific. With humor, pathos, and a razor-sharp script, Lady Bird feels like a conversation with an old friend. Number 2, 1999's The Virgin Suicides, directed by Sofia Coppola. This haunting film immerses us in the dreamy, melancholic world of 5 sisters living in suburban Michigan, told through the nostalgic lens of neighborhood boys. The Virgin Suicides is a poetic exploration of teenage longing and the pressures placed on young women. Third is 2011's Pariah, directed by Dee Reese. Dee Reese delivers a poignant personal narrative about a young black lesbian coming to terms with her identity amidst familial and societal expectations. The raw honesty of Pariah makes it not only relatable, but also groundbreaking in its depiction of LGBTQ+ adolescence. Number 4, 2015's Mustang, directed by Denise Gamze Erguven, and I am so sorry if I mispronounced that name. It is set in rural Turkey. This powerful film follows 5 sisters as they rebel against conservative, patriarchal conditions. Mustang is both a critique of societal norms and a celebration of sisterhood and resilience. Number 5, we have 2007's Persepolis, directed by Marianne Satrapi. Based on Satrapi's graphic novel, this animated gem chronicles her coming of age during the Iranian Revolution. With striking visuals and heartfelt storytelling, Persepolis captures the intersection of personal and political upheaval. Part 2, the funny, laugh out loud, and joyfully relatable films. Coming of age isn't all angst. Sometimes it's downright hilarious. These films bring humor and heart to the genre, proving that even the most awkward moments can spark joy. This section is only going to be 3 films. First up, 1995's Clueless, directed by Amy Heckerling. A modern adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma, Clueless redefined high school comedies with its sharp wit, iconic fashion, and endlessly quotable dialogue. Amy Heckerling's direction keeps the humor fresh while grounding the story in genuine emotion. Second will be 2019's Booksmart, directed by Olivia Wilde. This comedy follows 2 overachieving best friends as they attempt to cram 4 years of missed high school antics into one unforgettable night. Booksmart is as heartfelt as it is laugh-out-loud funny, with a refreshing focus on female friendship. And third will be 2014's Girlhood, directed by Celine Sciamma. While more of a drama, Girlhood finds moments of joy and levity in its portrayal of a young woman's journey towards independence. The unforgettable scene of the girls dancing to Rihanna's Diamonds perfectly encapsulates the freedom and fleeting magic of youth. And then part 3, the scary and everything in between, challenging and unconventional narratives. Not all coming-of-age stories are warm and fuzzy. This section explores the darker, more unconventional side of growing up, blending elements of horror, drama, and introspection. This section is our largest and will have 7 movies. First, we have 2016's Raw, directed by Julia Ducournau. Julia Ducournau's visceral horror film follows a vegetarian veterinarian student who develops a horrifying craving for human flesh. Beneath the gore, Raw is a metaphor for the primal, often uncontrollable nature of growing up. Second will be 2014's The Falling. Directed by Carol Morley, set in an English girls' school in the 1960s. This haunting film explores teenage hysteria and repression. The Falling uses its eerie atmosphere to dive into the mysteries of adolescence and the unspoken tensions that define it. And third is 2011's Tomboy. Again directed by Celine Sciamma, this tender French film examines gender identity through the eyes of a 10-year-old child. Tomboy is a quiet, empathetic exploration of identity, showing how children navigate societal expectations and their own self-discovery. Fourth is Whale Rider from 2002, directed by Nikki Caro, a beautifully crafted tale of tradition and perseverance. Whale Rider tells the story of a young Maori girl challenging patriarchal norms to fulfill her destiny. This film is as inspiring as it is moving, offering a timeless message of empowerment. And then fifth, we have 2003's 13, directed by Catherine Hardwicke. This unflinching portrayal of adolescence dives into peer pressure, family struggles, and the chaotic nature of teenage life. 13 is raw, intense, and unforgettable. And then we'll be watching 1998's The Slums of Beverly Hills, directed by Tamara Jenkins. A quirky comedy drama, this film embraces the awkwardness of growing up in the 1970s. Natasha Lyonne shines as the lead, capturing the humor and heartache of adolescence. And then we will finish up with something a little bit fun, 1983's Valley Girl, directed by Martha Coolidge. It's a quintessential 80s gem. Valley Girl is the neon-soaked Romeo and Juliet tale. While it indulges in cheesy tropes, its charm and relatability make it an enduring favorite. What's next? Each of these films offers a unique lens on the coming-of-age experience, from the deeply emotional to the laugh-out-loud funny, the unsettlingly raw to the unexpectedly uplifting. Over these next 15 episodes, we'll take a deep dive into these films, exploring their themes, characters, and what makes them timeless. So whether you're revisiting an old favorite or discovering something new, this series promises to celebrate the rich history, new history of coming-of-age films directed by women. So stay tuned. Now, the coming-of-age genre is a cinematic mirror reflecting the universal, transformative experience of growing up. These stories remind us of the awkwardness, joy, and challenges of youth, capturing moments that shape who we are. As the genre continues to evolve, female directors have brought fresh perspectives and vitality, diversity to its storytelling, crafting narratives that resonate deeply with audiences across generations and cultures. Their work challenges stereotypes, explores underrepresented voices, and broadens our understanding of what it means to come of age in today's world. Through heartfelt dramas, hilarious comedies, and even unsettling horrors, the films we've explored today remind us of the power of cinema to evoke empathy and connection. Whether you're drawn to the vibrant humor of Clueless or the haunting poignancy of The Virgin Suicides, these stories offer something for everyone, a chance to reflect on your own journey or just to understand someone else's. As we wrap up today's episode of Real Talk, I want to remind you that we can be found on Instagram and Threads at Real Talk. You can email me at therealrealtalk@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, love to have conversations. And next week, or next episode, we will begin with Ladybird, our deep dive into all things Ladybird. So let these films take you back to those moments of growth, discovery, and self-awareness, while also showcasing the extraordinary talents of female directors who continue to redefine the genre. So be sure to tune in next week as we dive deeper into Ladybird. Until then, keep watching, keep feeling, and keep discovering the magic of cinema. Thank you for joining me on this journey. We'll see you next time.
Underneath the sun's green, 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 talking reels and all their schemes, dusty scenes and dreams unfold, stories told in shadows bold, gritty plots and whispers tight, dim the streets and moonlight bright. We dissect the cinematic art, real by real we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway, reviewing tales both light and dark, classic films that leave a mark. Dive deep into celluloid night, critique the legends in our sight. Every frame a layer appeal, truth and intrigue are revealed. Fan the flames of black and white, the mystery dances in the night. Casablanca to the crime, in every score we find a rhyme. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and moonlight bright. With velvet world we pull apart, real by real we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway, with velvet worlds and starlit sway, real by real we pull apart. The real talk where voices play with velvet words and starlit sway, reviewing tales both light and dark, classic films that leave a mark.